I already saw the camera in my face. I'm not trusting this.
This is the moment Shamima Begum turned away from our cameras, refusing to answer questions about returning to Britain. It is the first time the UK's most infamous ISIS bride has been pictured since her appearance in a controversial BBC documentary in 2023. Today, she remains inside one of two heavily guarded detention camps that we visited in northeast Syria. Together, they hold more than 35,000 people once tied to the Islamic State, the remnants of a sickening caliphate that collapsed in 2019. We travelled here to uncover what life is really like for the brides, children and men linked to ISIS, and to ask whether the ongoing instability in the region, combined with cuts to foreign aid, could fuel a renewed threat to the UK and the West.
Okay, we're on our way to al-Hol camp, the largest ISIS camp in northeast Syria, home to 30,000 people, men, women and children, who've been detained for over 7 years after the fall of ISIS. They're held in a huge camp that's like a city. They've got their own markets, schools. There's a huge area set aside for foreign ISIS prisoners who come from Britain, Europe, all over the world. And there's been unrest in the camp in recent days. So we're going to take you there to effectively an ISIS city and show you what's going on the ground. And here we are inside al-Hol camp. We've been told 200 families are being repatriated every day to Iraq. The Syrian families here are still being held here as HTS is not taking them from the Kurdish forces that are managing the camp. We're still to visit the foreign section of the camp, which we've been told is too dangerous to get out of a vehicle. We'll be hit with stones and stuff, children attacking any kind of foreign looking people in the camp. Here we've talked to women and men who, it's a whole community. This is the market, the souk, where people run their own businesses, all being supported by the camp administration. It's a mini city. We've seen children here that are clearly have been born and brought up in the camp. You've got a whole generation growing up surrounded by people who were in ISIS or part of that ideology. And what is the future for those children? We don't know. But when you ask people the big question, were you in ISIS? People don't want to tell you. People deflect the question or they won't talk to you. Was she in ISIS, and where did she come from in Iraq to join? Oh, sorry, okay. They've got a lot of complaints about why they're here, but not many people want to tell you the story behind why they ended up inside al-Hol.
The life here is really bad. We don't have enough water, we don't have enough food, the nutrition is really bad. Like a Syrian cannot get out of here. They wouldn't allow us to get out. And at the same time, it's like we don't have enough tools for everything. So I have 3 children. Boy is 18 and one 15 and the other is 5. They don't have education. There's no school. They don't know how to write or talk. We need a future for our children.
During this interaction, the gentleman wanted to make it clear he claimed he had no links to ISIS, or as they call it, Daesh. He branded his cigarettes as supposed proof, due to the caliphate not approving of smoking. We were able to walk around this part of the camp fairly comfortably, but there was another section that was about to put us much more at risk.
We're here in al-Hol camp, and behind me is the section reserved for the foreigners who came to fight for ISIS. We've been told these people are the most extreme examples of people who joined that death cult. 100% keep with the ideology, far more so than the Iraqis and Syrians in other parts of the camp. These foreigners are kept completely separate from everyone else. We've heard there's been riots, people have been killed, a woman's body was found, and these buildings, these charred out buildings behind me, were set up by NGOs like Save the Children, Norwegian Refugee Council, to provide education. But the people in the camp burnt them down. They burnt them down, they rejected it, they destroyed it, they looted the buildings. Every time we've been told an NGO tries to set up something here, it's destroyed. We're also told that even the street lights, even the lights that they put up around the camp, they throw rocks at those lights and knock them out. They just turn their back on every kind of help. So the future for these people, we don't know what it could be, because they're not giving up on ISIS, and they're still here in large numbers.
The person that has witnessed the hostilities is co-chair of al-Hol camp, Jihan Hanan, She explained how recently one of the former foreign ISIS bride detainees was brutally attacked in the past few days for daring to remove her hijab. It's not known what has become of the woman, as she went back into the foreign section of the camp where guards are unable to follow. If it was taken over by another regime, would ISIS come back and threaten not just Syria but the West as well?
It will be really difficult for us because the war against ISIS, it's not only using weapon, it's like not only fighting against each other, it's also the war against an ideology, a really extremist ideology that we are facing right now. If another regime came and took control or administrate this camp, it will be really hard because they don't have this experiences. It's not only fighting but also in the ideology, fighting the extremism.
To see how this extremism and ideology can affect those on British shores, we took a drive to another camp, al-Roj, home to ISIS bride Shamima Begum, who travelled to join the caliphate a decade ago, aged just 15. She was captured alongside thousands of foreign-born extremists who had travelled to Syria and Iraq to join the death cult regime.
Please find enclosed papers that relate to a decision taken by the Home Secretary to deprive your daughter Shamima Begum of her British citizenship.
Shamima was stripped of her British citizenship in 2019, but now the 26-year-old wants to return to the UK despite the Supreme Court refusal last year. US President Donald Trump's administration has made noises this year signalling foreign-born ISIS members held in Syrian camps should be repatriated. Similarly, Reform's Nigel Farage said he was beginning to become thoughtful on backing a return for Begum to Britain.
And I'm now thoughtful. I'm thoughtful. I mean, I don't classify her as an all-out ISIS killer. So she's sort of she is a lesser part of the equation. I think what Gawker has done is started a debate, not one that I wanted to have, and not one the British government wanted to have, but now we're going to have to.
But when we put these comments to Begum, she responded with no comment, whilst also trying to avoid our cameras. Cool. And the head of the camp just said to us now, the political landscape changing now that Trump's, weirdly Trump back in, is potentially a way home.
Yeah. I already saw the camera in my face. I'm not trusting this.
Oh, sorry. Is there more of a hope of getting out and getting home in some way?
No comment for me. Yeah.
Is that all you wanted to ask?
No, I mean, is there anything you want to say as yourselves that without a question, with just anything you want to say, basically, in terms of what's going on right now, how you feel, and it's an open space, and essentially you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. I'm going to look that on my basically jump.
The future of these camps holding thousands of former ISIS men, women and children in northeastern Syria is far from clear. In the capital Damascus, the new Islamist regime of HTS has seized power, with their leader Abu Muhammad al-Jilani seemingly being accepted by the West despite atrocities against minorities happening under his watch since he swept to power. Inside the camp, some feel Jilani, who was a former Islamic extremist with al-Qaeda, could be their ticket to freedom. The current Kurdish-led camp authorities told us if HTS get the keys to the camps, they could set the ISIS detainees free, potentially sparking a new tidal wave of Islamic extremism which could wash over the shores of Britain and the West. The question for the British government and Western leaders now is how to confront the issue of the ISIS camps. Do we stand by and watch the gates potentially be flung open? Or do we confront this issue, which has for so long been kicked into the long grass for future governments to deal with? The only thing that is clear is that doing nothing may be very dangerous indeed.